Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of this exclusive IIT DJSCE podcast. And I'm your host Anish Shetty, and for this introductory podcast, we are having none other than our principal sir, Dr. Vasudevan. He's a man who needs no introduction, but for the formalities, he has been the principal of our college, that is FPK Wakada J. Sangvi College of Engineering, for the past 15 plus years. He had his education from top-notch colleges, and also under him we achieved the autonomous affiliation. So we all know you as the principal of our college, but other than that, like something new, like what are you? We need to know something like your hobbies, what activities you're interested in.
Anyway, at the outset, thank you, Anish.
Yeah.
To know more about me, other than being the principal of the college, I would like to describe myself as a human being who would want to make some meaning to my own life. In the sense, the profession, the position, the academic qualifications, all that apart, you need to be a human being. Of certain standards in terms of knowing who you are better. See, if I know who I am better, I will be able to define my relationship with people around me in a better way. If I do not know myself in a better way in terms of who I am, then I may tend to behave in a different way with other people. So I can better introduce me as one who is in the pursuit of who I am. This is something that would be of a lot of interest to you. You have introduced me, you have said many things about me, but my own, that seeker's question in that sense, I want to find out who really I am. Because I believe that there's something beyond my body, mind and intellect, which I think is that spark or that force, whatever. So that's what is the identity. This is something that I can tell you in short.
That's quite an introduction from my side. Like apart from the material things that you're a teacher for us for installation, and the introduction you gave that completely new for something to learn. So you got your education from like top-notch institute in India, from your PhD from IIT Bombay, your master from DJSCE. So you must have a great group of friends with you yourself. And so back in those days, did you have some crazy entrepreneurial ideas or something like starting a business or something like that?
No, actually, coming from a certain background, my family background, I was not exposed to business kind of thoughts. To be very frank, I did not have any of those ideas. And those days, the ecosystem wasn't that supportive of starting business or creating startups, etc., which I believe today is. Today, that the vibrant setup, the financial, economic conditions, the way in which we, at least in our country, we are progressing as a nation, there's a lot of scope for youngsters to start with business. So those days, frankly, I must admit that I did not have any idea about it. But today I feel yes, youngsters with a lot of talent must aspire to become good entrepreneurs, and they can create jobs rather than being job seekers. They should be job providers.
So, like that was about your past. Now, currently we have like AI boom and all, and you see shows like Shark Tank, where they're entrepreneurs pitching the product. Right now, also we have Trinity conducting Shark Tank. So, if you were a student right now, so what would be your product? Like something you would like to bring to the market, or like what interests you?
See, business is something where you can create sources, create money, create wealth, create jobs, etc. But my thought in that sense would be to create some products using our engineering knowledge that would help our security forces.
Yeah.
For defense forces, if some kind of products that can help our soldiers to better their working conditions. For example, I'm told that security, an army person carries a lot of weight in the jacket and then all that additional things that he has to put on his body. So if anybody can come up with some products that can reduce the weight, help them in better climatic conditions, and so that it helps them in their mobility better. I think something like that, or a drone which can assess the climatic conditions in the bordering areas, the terrains. So if anything like that, if people can contribute, if I am to venture into that, I would look for opportunities wherein I can collaborate and try and help create some products that will help our security forces.
Answer like a true patriot, sir. So our college has a great history of students achieving a lot of things. So any particular student or alumni who comes to your mind who had some aspirational entrepreneurship dreams and made into reality? Anyone, any
Yes.
particular?
Yes. In the specific answer to that question, I easily remember Siddharth Shah, who passed out from here in 2012. I remember correctly, 2011 or 12. He went on to do his masters in IIM Ahmedabad, and he started with Dial Health
Okay.
as a company, and now he is the top person of pharmacy. So he is the main person. So I think if I look at Siddharth's growing days, then we used to have a lot of interaction almost every day, at least 3-4 times in a week. He would be in my cabin late evenings, discussing till 9-9:30 and all that, because he was also the cultural secretary of the college. A very good boy. He is one I would like to see often. Very respectful and very obedient and very this thing. So during those interactions itself, I could make out that Siddharth is going to make it big, in life. And not too many freshers easily get into IIMA. And he was one of those, and then coming out and establishing a company of pharmacy size today is splendid. So I remember Siddharth to be one of the best success stories of DJSCE, Siddharth Shah.
So you talked about Siddharth being a cultural secretary. Do you think all non-technical departments and committees like events, marketing, do they play a major role in the holistic development of a student? Considering we are engineering students.
Yes. Especially that time, the Parijay was our college festival before we started with Trinity.
Yeah.
So before declaring the Parijay, the main team, I asked Siddharth, I said, Siddharth, I will make you the chairperson of Parijay. He said, no, sir, I would like to be cultural secretary. I said, why? Chairperson is the biggest post. He said, no, sir, you please make me only cultural secretary. And he had organized a number of programs in the college, which I have seen, and therefore I knew he has the leadership abilities. So I said, Siddharth, why don't you become this? And he said, no, I want to be cultural secretary. It is only that time and then later on that I started realizing that even in an engineering college, a cultural secretary's position is of paramount importance. In the sense, engineer plus these activities, rather than being a technical secretary or the figurehead chairperson in the committee, cultural secretary could get access to a number of things in terms of organizing events, resources, all that. So Siddharth became the cultural secretary. We made him the cultural secretary that time. I think that goes a long way to in developing one's leadership skills as a student. Gives them a lot of opportunities.
So this was about the previous batch. Now after post-COVID, the COVID era, we have students with access to a huge amount of tech comparatively back then. So and we have a lot of distractions. So some boon and bane things, both of them. Do you think the current batches which are in college right now, do they have the potential to make it that big as previous batches or even more than that? What's your take on that?
Yes. See, today opportunities are plenty. With this emerging technologies coming into influence every aspect of our life, I think there are plenty of things, as you mentioned about artificial intelligence, machine learning kind of technologies coming in. I think children will have a lot more opportunities than the ones in the previous years had. So, and I see a lot of talent in youngsters. See, we say old is gold. Old had certain advantages, certain typical thinking pattern. Our generation was even more older. So we lived in that pre-internet era.
Yeah.
Then the students that I mentioned, like Siddharth, they lived in that internet era, they made it big. But today, I think it is even more. But of course, it is also important to be cautious about the threats with the media, the social media moderations, and the digital dark side influencing the mindset and creating legal challenges and all that. So, youngsters, I think today have opportunities, but at the same time, they will have to be more vigilant, more alert. Leading opportunities are plenty. You are sort of inspired to get into things, but you never know what is camouflaged in that. So I think this present generation will have a lot more opportunities, and they're doing good. I'm very confident about the current few batches going good. A few more success stories. If I'm to talk about Ranveer Alabadia, who recently got an award from the Prime Minister in Bharat Mandapam. He is our ex-student. Viram Shah, who is a financial analyst in the west coast of US. So he's been, I many times see him in CNBC TV 18 and all. Then Viraj Seth, Ayush Tiwari. These are all some success stories, you know. So like that, I think many children have made it big.
Our college has a name for hosting hackathons and also participating in other college hackathons and winning as well. So in this hackathons, we create some very nice products. You know, the winning products are extremely good. And but the problem is that the products are left right over there. They don't work on it. So do you think we should work on it and bring it out to the market or something like that?
Absolutely. During the inauguration of every hackathon, when I ask for more details, of course they keep coming before for permissions, and also I ask them a lot of questions. But during the inauguration, and then on that day morning, I asked them, what are we going to do with these products? Nowadays, I've started getting answers like, sir, the sponsor will take it. Sponsor has already given so much money, has given us so much money, and will take, etc. But I have always believed this 24 hours of real effort of these youngsters can result in some good products coming out, you know. And then what happens, I asked like this during the inaugural session, and then because of the work pressure and administrative responsibilities, I forget. Next time again, this comes, I will ask the HOD, you know, see, some good products will come out. We should own it up, and, you know, we should further develop it and all that. You know, I'll ask request management for financial support if need be and all that. They all say, yeah, we will do and things like that, but then it's forgotten. Yeah. So rightly you mentioned, our students are real winners in many hackathons all around. Every other day, the training and placement officer has to keep posting on some or the other victories of our hackathon teams. And 6 hackathons we have had this year. Yeah. I don't think any other college.
That too with great prize pools.
Yes. No, like 2 lakh plus kind of prize pools. So I don't think any other college has got 6 24-hour hackathons. And plus our students winning outside. Even the ministry influenced Smart India Hackathon, SIH. Many of our teams go and win every year. Like, you know. So to sum it up, yes, you are giving me further, motivation to formalize this arrangement with all the teams now and ensure that these products that are quoted and developed during the hackathons are taken, forward with and developed into better products. And DJSCE as an institution own it up.
Of course, yeah.
We'll do that.
That's a great idea. But once you develop this products, you need a great interest. For the ones who make them, they need to show great interest and determination in bringing it forward. And that might result in less attendance or something like less involvement in lectures and all. So is that okay, sir? Because you're doing something for the college indirectly, but that is also affecting your academics in some way, like you're not able to attend lectures or anything practical. So that's one bad factor. What do you think of that?
See, it's a trade-off. On one side, university has stipulations. Our own management has certain guidelines given to us on attendance. So the requirements of 75% minimum attendance to be met with is really important. But on the contrary, we know that the great leaders or great success stories were never just made in the classroom by studying. So you need to have a lot of activities to be taken up on many of these technical, cultural, co-curricular, cultural levels in the institution. So students, yes, I would always advise students, okay, you are permitted to attend minimum 75, to do everything else in that 25%. So that is something, and I know even if the attendance is lowered down to 40%, 50%, students will still do a good job in terms of their results. Academics, they will come out. So I have that confidence. I know, but then guidelines set by management or others is also to be respected. So I say within 25% you do all that you can, something that.
So finally, ours is of course it's engineering college, and we have a record of students going for masters abroad and pursuing going into MBA colleges and all. So what would be your advice to our current batches who want to get into this startup and go on to the entrepreneurship side?
I think this is the best time to be in India. Something like that our Prime Minister says. This is the best time to be in India. Yes, if you want to go into US universities, pursue your education, all that is fine. But then if you can afford, you should come back. Because I believe, based on my discussion with my friends, colleagues, etc., next 25, 30 years is India's.
Yeah.
So there will be a lot of opportunities as India is growing now. We are already 5th largest economy. We are bound to be the 3rd largest in few years' time. So there will be plenty of opportunities. But of course, the challenges are known to everybody. The infrastructural development, the problems, the pollution, population, lack of discipline in our system, legal issues, certain laws motivating people to go away from our country and become more productive and efficient elsewhere rather than being here and get caught in legal battles, etc. But I think, we are Indians. You go abroad, settle down there, spend your next 40 years of life there. But you must evaluate and check and see whether it really gives you that satisfaction. Whereas in India, in spite of the challenges and botherations that you'll have to live with, still you are an Indian, you feel proud of your country's growth. Yeah. It is something that, because there are a lot of poor people in our country who still need our attention. Government alone cannot do all this. Every individual will have to start contributing in some way or the other through NGOs or through any other channels for uplifting the people who really need support. So I would always say that people should not just look at me and my spouse and 2 children and we have a better roads, better houses and all that in the foreign country. No, it will happen here also if you contribute. So India will change, and this is the best time to be in India. And in India, if you want to be an entrepreneur, Prime Minister of India often keeps saying that we have worked on the rules, regulations in starting up business and all that, the licenses that they have to get. So he is trying his level best to ease up the process, of becoming an entrepreneur. So if you are getting into that entrepreneurial ecosystem, I think life will be a little more easier in the future. We are getting more digital as a country. The way we struggled in my, our generation struggled with a lot of things on the infrastructural side. But your generation, the current young generation, at least are living in a more digitized world where things are more transparent, things are more easier. Yeah. So with that, if you start a business, if you establish a startup, I think you can provide a lot of opportunities for others to join you, help our country. See, it's a highly populous country, 140 odd crores. The government alone cannot run education, business, and so many things. More private players will have to come in, and these kind of startups that are coming in, that unicorn. Now we have I think 100 plus. So if more and more youngsters take this step of creating startups, converting their innovative ideas into startups and establish businesses, I think it will be good for the country overall, so that the hidden potential can be tapped in various ways.
So basically, even if we learn over here, even if you go abroad, you should come back and give back.
That's what I feel. If you want to experience a global educational network and the experience, definitely they are definitely better than us. Our university affiliation concept is only different, flawed. We have, for example, Mumbai University here, to which our college is affiliated. Mumbai University has got 860 plus colleges spread across 4 districts of Maharashtra state: Mumbai, Thane, Sindhudurg, Ratnagiri, Raigad. So different colleges, set of colleges, different infrastructure, quality of teaching staff varies from college to college. The students' quality varies, but everyone gets the same degree, University of Mumbai degree. So, and therefore, because of the standard of various colleges do differ, in better cities like Mumbai or Thane, colleges do relatively well. So I feel being in a system like this doesn't really inculcate that innovative thing. It's happening now. I'm happy that a lot of change is happening, but in terms of creating research or creating more fresh ideas, putting it into practice, etc., the infrastructure and the support services are not there. Whereas in the US universities, everything is there in that 3,000 odd acres. There's not too much of government control. Here, everything is controlled by various agencies. So there, everything happens in the same campus. So you are allowed to work really hard, create better systems, and compete at their national level in the US and also the global level. And plus, industries support US universities for research, etc., in a much better way as compared to what is happening in India. Indian industries, they always talk about unemployability, students passing out, engineers coming out of engineering colleges not being employable. in the Indian industries keep talking about in their seminars, saying that only 25% are employable. One question to them I would like to ask: what is your contribution in establishing better quality engineers, producing better engineers? You just want to get best quality output coming out of colleges and make money out of it from day one. You do not want to contribute to the national wealth. You don't want to contribute to nation building process. So is it possible? Industry also must think when industries are running and creating their wealth, parallelly they should also help financial education institutions in whatever ways they can. I won't say financially alone. Even there are experts coming into colleges and teaching once in a while. When I say this again, the counter question can be: industries are not running just to send their executives to colleges to teach. You should take up that. No, but then engineering is a profession where practice and theory have to go together. In engineering colleges, you have teachers who are teaching in that college with limited infrastructure abilities, have to train and give you best quality product. It's not possible. So you have to actually tell the colleges what is your expectation, what is it that you want, and support the education institution so that education institutions also take it far more vigorously to produce better quality outputs. So in US, this is much better. Here we only hear in seminars, industry institute interaction, these kind of buzzwords, but nobody does anything. It is the government alone, as I said earlier, cannot run education. So many private managements do run educational institutes with limited financial capability, financial resources. So they can't put that extra money to create resource and create innovative ideas, to be put into practice, etc. So I think this is what, and therefore our youngsters who would want to experience that global education might go there if they can afford. Maybe complete the education, work for 2-3 years. But the primary objective should be to come back to India, give it back, because this is a great nation. Whatever we know, there are problems, there are issues. We are all proud of our nation. We say great nation, but there's a lot of attitudinal problem with our population. All of us included, among us, the way that societal living, respect for law, respect for fellow human beings, etc. I think we have to go a long way actually to come up to certain global standards. And that will come. So if you come back from US or any other advanced country and work in our country for the betterment of our country or something like this, you make for the world, you set up establishments here and export products for Europe and US. They will all need it now. Yeah. So India as a country, as a culture, as a civilization has been sort of the balancing power for the whole world, And with the kind of geopolitical tensions and wars and many things happening, India, I think in the future, with its economic might as well as the defense might, India might turn out to be the balancing factor for the whole world.
So, talking about things of national importance, we have the elections coming up. And recently, NSS also had the voter ID registration. Students of our college are majorly adults. We are 18+. So important message on we should vote. Yeah.
We should definitely vote. All our youngsters who are eligible to vote must go and cast their vote, because you are electing your representative who would create laws for you in the future.
Yeah.
So if they are going to create wrong laws or other regulations, then you cannot blame somebody else then later. So you will be responsible. So you have to assess the right candidate based on what he or she promises and go and exercise your electoral right to vote. You must do that. I would encourage all our youngsters to go and vote. We should not be complacent, saying that the policy regulations will continue with the same government expected to come in, and therefore we will not vote. No, we cannot do that. You have to exercise your democratic.
Be the change you want to see.
Yes.
So I think this was a great session with you. Thank you so much for being in this podcast with us. So for any message finally you have to give to us, how it felt.
Yeah, no, it's a good initiative that you have taken, and I'm sure you will do this with many others. Message basically to youngsters is that live your life. The external material world pulls us into many temptations. Wealth creation, fame, name, etc. If you really analyze, all these are temporary. Nothing lasts forever. So therefore, the first thing that I raised, you must try to do the inquiry as to who am I? Do I want to experience the turbulence of the water surface in the ocean and be in the midst of that all through? or I should go deep dive into the ocean and experience that inner silence, that silence, the depth of the ocean. I hope you understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
If, in spite of the turbulence on the water surface, if you go deep into the water, you experience that silence, calmness, that serene beauty. And this is what is the nature of all of us. As a technology person, technology institute's principal, I would want to say, keep moving away from technology. The first and important question for us is to look at ourselves. Once in a while doing self audit is a good thing. To do audit ourselves as to how I have conducted myself, how did I behave, what was my response to my mother at home when she shouted at me, or my sibling, my father, my neighbors, my friends, relatives. So once in a while, if you do audit, and then you can correct yourself. This should have been done, that should not have been done, kind of a thing. So in the auditing, you get certain insights. You can position yourself better. All this can happen better if you go in search of that silence.
Yes.
Believe me, that is a real treasure. Today, one event is happening in the college, online treasure hunt. So,
Yeah.
in my inaugural speech, I said the biggest treasure is actually hidden inside us. There's no treasure that you can really find outside which gives you so much happiness. The inner treasure, just like the depth of the ocean, that silence, that calmness, that serenity, that beauty, that alone can give us permanent and everlasting happiness.
Great.
So our youngsters should, along with all that work that you're doing as a student, you pass out, you work in the company everywhere, and don't wait for the retirement age to start saying, okay, I will after my retirement read some of these texts, read some of the things, I'll do some social service then. No, by doing social service, by contributing a lot for others' benefit, when you can afford. If you cannot afford, you cannot contribute to others. So when you can really afford, whatever little that you can part away with, by doing that, actually you are conditioning yourself better. Your own ability to part with what you have in surplus, your ability not to get attached too much, detachment, because any attachment causes misery, Any attachment is bound to be having that someday that attachment is going to go away. So that tension and worry is always there, anxiety. So instead, part with something, be relaxed, help others, find happiness in the happiness of others. So if you can do all this, as a student you do this, if you can, as a corporate personnel you do this, if you can, as a father later on in your life, mother, in different roles, try to do that extra little bit and find some time either in the morning or evening or both times to sit quietly and watch your thoughts. And just like the depth of the ocean, try to go deep into it, forgetting the world around you, which always troubles you. Anything around in the material world is presumably giving you happiness, but it is only temporary. It is just like comes and goes. It doesn't last with you.
Yes,
so therefore, experience that oneness with yourself. I cannot say that leave everything and just sit and meditate. No. I am saying that whatever may be your role in your life, fulfill that as per your swadharma, as per your real nature, your inclination, your natural thing. As per your swadharma, you fulfill it, do your duty, but in the process, keep thinking about that inner silence. What is it that is igniting me, that illumines me? See, another example I was giving today, that the sun illumines a flower.
Yes.
Sun also illumines some dirt and filth. But does the sun rays ever smell the fragrance of the flower? Will it ever be smelling dirt or filth? No. It is a constant thing that illumines us. To the product, it shows that product or that object to function. But that force called sunlight, or that living force or life force that is in us, it is ever constant, it is unaffected, and irrespective of people's faith and background and social status, in everyone it is the same, one and the same. Whether it's in a poor man or a rich man, or an American or an Indian or a Canadian, or who's a dacoit, or is a terrorist, or a great sage, or a big religious practitioner, in everybody it is the same thing. Not similar, it is just one. There are no all souls. Of course, I don't want to preach too much of Veda, but we are a part of that oneness. Imagine in a podcast like this, something like a podcast is happening in your dream. And you say, okay, I would like to take the interview of our principal, Dr. Hari Vasudevan. So I've gone and taken his appointment, and then he agreed. And one day we are having a podcast. And all these questions that you asked me now, in the dream, everything happens as it is, like how it is happening here now. But the moment you wake up from your dream, from your sleep, you know it was just a dream. But in the dream, both Anish Shetty as well as Hari Vasudevan were real characters. Everything was happening as if all properly done setup. But the moment you are woken up from your sleep, you know that it was just a dream. So in a larger sense, in this cosmos, in this ecosystem, this is like that. We are part of that entire oneness. When I talked about the example of the sea, the living creatures like fish in that, beautiful looking fish, dirty looking fish, big fish, small fish, different creatures in this vast body called this water quantity. Can anybody say from where do they come? It comes and it goes. I'm not talking about the fishes that are taken out of water for this food. So what I'm saying is, across 7 seas, this mass quantity called water. So where does this come? Where does it go? So it is all within. It hasn't come from anywhere else. It is just there. Same way, if you look at our life, our surrounding, our system, we are part of that oneness. Because of the senses and because of our discriminating power, we see things differently. Discrimination, but in the larger sense, we are all just one. So it's like the great rishis who have done research and have given up their body at that level. For them, it's like the dream, the dream example. They just like passing thoughts, come and go. They are just like that illuminating force. They just sit idle, just sit happily, merged into that natural thing. So I think the youngsters today, see, a lot of talent, a lot of capability, all of you are extremely talented. But the question is, are you using your talent to its fullest? So if you put once in a while, if you put breaks, do self-audits, understand yourself better, think about yourself, your, the relationship with the world around. You see, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of people in my life who misbehave. So my feeling towards such people is that, hey, isko khud ko pata nahi hai what he is. A person who doesn't know who really he is, he will mismanage the relationship around. Na? But if he really knows who really he is, one tiny particle in their cosmos. What is that ego? Where is that ego going to take you to? I am this, I am that. Isn't all this temporary? Does do any of these things remain stationary? No. So I think intelligently youngsters must assess all this. Do your work. Study well when you are a student. That's your duty. Fulfill your parents' expectations, familial expectations. Do all that. Try to get a good job. All that you do. But in this journey, rather than being too late, just practice some of these things of conditioning, internalizing certain larger aspects of life. You will become a much better student if you do that. And then the same thing continues in your life. So I wish all our youngsters great times ahead. And God bless everybody. I'm sure.
Thank you so much. You touched a great amount of topics, right, from your personal life, through entrepreneurship, technical things, and national responsibility of us, and finally towards inner peace and also. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. We wish to see you again on the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anish. Thank you so much, and wish all the best to the entire team of Institution Innovation Council at DJSCE. And I am expecting a lot of things to come out in the coming years. Our ISC should really do well. So all the best to all of you. Thank you so much.